Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the most popular applications on the internet, which is email. I don't think anyone who is watching this video uh, never heard about this term email, isn't it? It is so popular that everyone uses it, almost everyone. Now, let's talk about how this works. What are all the internal things and the different protocols that work in the background to make this email happen? Okay, so in this video I'm going to cover about the email architecture and also the functionality of an user agent, what it does and what kind of service it provides. In the remaining videos I will cover the message transfer part, the message formats like the RFC 822, MIME, and finally the final delivery of the email, which includes the IMAP and POP3 protocols. Okay, so let us start with the basics first. What is an email? So email is a short form for electronic mail, which allows users to send and receive messages through the internet. It is the electronic version of a common letter, but with the added benefits of spontaneity and flexibility of attachments. You know, an email can be sent within a fraction of a second, isn't it? And also you can send different types of attachments to your email. You can send a Word document, send a picture, send a video, send an audio file. Different types of attachments can also be sent through the email, which is not possible with a letter. An email can contain not only just text messages, but also various types of attachments like images, videos, audio, and other files. Now, if you want to understand how popular email is, because you just can't believe that whatever I say is true, isn't it? I just did some digging on the internet. I came across this site ediscoverytoday.com. According to them, in 2023, there are roughly 347.3 billion emails that are sent per day, which makes it there are 241.2 million emails that are sent every minute in 2023. Such is the popularity of email. It completely replaced most of the communication that happens in a corporate world. Most of them, you can see that almost the postal service or the number of postal messages that are sent have been decreased quite drastically, isn't it? Because of these two benefits, spontaneity and flexibility of attachments. Let's dig into this topic even further. What does this email consist of? How does this happen? To kick off, first let us talk about the email architecture. The email architecture actually consists of two subsystems. The first subsystem we call as a user agent. In short form, we call it as UA, which allows the people to read and send email. Its main purpose is to allow the people to interact with the email system, to send an email or to read an incoming email. The second subsystem is called as the message transfer agents, or in short, we call them as MTAs, which move the messages from the source to the destination across the network. So from one point to another point, from source to destination, the delivery of the email is the responsibility of the MTA. Now, this is how a simple architecture looks like. This is my sender, and this is my receiver. So as I told you, the user agent is the one which works at the sender and the receiver side. The user agent allows the sender to compose an email and send it. This email is received by the message transfer agent, and then which uses a protocol called as SMTP to transfer it to the receiver's message transfer agent. And towards the finally, the receiver, there is another protocol which we use here, IMAP or POP3, which we call it as the third phase, which is final delivery. The receiver receives the email. Okay. Now, the user agent is a program that provides a graphical interface or sometimes a text and command-based interface that lets the users interact with the email system. Now, simply if I ask you, you open the email client and then compose a message. It allows you to type the message. It allows you to add any attachments if needed and then send it, isn't it? It includes a means to compose messages and reply to messages, display incoming messages, and organize messages by filing, searching, and even discarding them. Now, this process, the act of sending new messages into the mail system for delivery, is called as the mail submission. That is our point number one here. A sender, once it composes an email, and if it and if it submits the email for delivery to the receiver, this point is called as the mail submission part. Now, what does the MTA do? That is the role of the user agent. What it does is it allows the user to compose an email and then submit it for delivery. Once the user agent accepts it for delivery, it is up to the MTA to handle this email and then transmit it towards the receiver. The MTA manages the actual email transfer operation. These agents are typically system processes which run in the background on mail server machines and are intended to be always available. If you are wondering, sir, where did we get these mail server machines? These are nothing but the MTAs are actually called as mail servers. You can see this are called as mail servers. So the MTAs automatically move email through the system from the originator to the recipient and use the SMTP protocol. SMTP actually stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Once again, this is my sender. Let us assume that this is my sender. The user agent, what it does is it creates the email and transmits to the and handovers that email to the MTA. MTA using the SMTP protocol creates a connection and delivers it to the mail server. From here onwards, if it has to search for the recipient's mail server, and then once it is done, it is up to the SMTP protocol to transfer your email to the recipient's mail server, wherever it is. And towards the final part, we have something called as the MEAA, or the message access agent or mail access agent, which uses POP3 or IMAP protocols to retrieve this email onto the client's device. Once again, at the client's device, your user agent will open this email and will enable the user to read this email. Okay, so SMTP was originally specified as RFC 821 and then revised to become the current standard of RFC 5321. We'll study more about these standards, what they do and how they are revised in our next videos. It sends mail over the connections and reports back the delivery status and any errors. This is what it does. So SMTP is used two times. First between the sender and the sender's mail server, and between the two mail servers across the internet. SMTP uses commands and responses to transfer the messages between an MTA client and an MTA server. This SMTP protocol, what it does is, it makes use of simple command and response schemes. It uses TCP as the protocol for establishing a connection between the client and server to send and receive the emails. As I told you, we'll study more about SMTP in another video. The message transfer agents also implement mailing lists in which an identical copy of a message is delivered to anyone on a list of email addresses. You know what a mailing list is, isn't it? So when you want to send an email, you can just type in a group addresses, isn't it? So like that. So other advanced features are carbon copies, blind carbon copies, high priority email, secret email, that is encrypted email, auto reply, and alternate recipients in case of primary being unavailable. So these are all the advanced features which we use every day with our email. So I add CCs, BCCs, high priority, even encrypt my email, anything I want. So linking these user agents and the MTAs are the concepts of something we call as mailboxes and a standard format for email messages. What do you mean by mailbox? A mailbox is nothing but what you are interacting with. So mailboxes store the email that is received for a user. So if you have a particular email address, there is a mailbox attached to that email address. And whenever someone sends you an email, that email is actually delivered to that mailbox. What your agent does is nothing but it will simply present a view to you of that mailbox. Whatever is there, whichever email is there, it will simply present a view of that mailbox and lets you decide what to do with it. So user agents simply present users with a view of the contents of their mailboxes. In the internet, an email address consists of two parts. Of course, everyone who has an email address should understand this. A local part and a domain name separated by an @ sign. Like this. So local part at domain name. Mail address of, this is the mailbox address of the recipient and this is the domain name of the mail server. So like mukeshchinta@gmail.com. Gmail.com is nothing but the domain name. Mukesh Chinta is the mailbox address or my recipient address. The user agents sends commands to the mail servers for manipulating the mailboxes, inspecting their contents, deleting the messages, and so on. So when you open an email or when you open your inbox, what does your user agent do? It connects to the your mailbox, opens the contents of your mailbox, and provides you with a view of it. Then you can do whatever. If you want to read a message, delete a message, or move a message, or save something, you can do whatever you want. The retrieval of the mail is the final delivery, which is the third step in the architecture that we discussed. So mail is sent between message transfer agents in a standard format. They told you how do you link the user agent and the MTA is the concept of a mailbox and also a standard format in which the mail is to be delivered. The original format, which is RFC 822, has been revised to the current RFC 5322 and extended with the support for multimedia content and international text. And it is popularly called as the MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extensions. We will also study about MIME, how it actually provides support for addition of all these kind of attachments in the another video. So for this, as of now, a key distinction is made between the email envelope and its contents. The envelope encapsulates the message. It contains all the information needed for transporting the message, such as the destination address, priority, security level, all of which are distinct from the message itself and is used by the MTS for routing purposes. Of course, that is what usually does. Envelope is something which we have. If you are writing a letter, what you do? You write a letter, you put all that information inside, put it inside an envelope, and on top of the envelope, you write your to address, the from address, and something else. So according the postman or your post offices, what they do, they look at the information on the envelope and then decide how to route it, isn't it? Similarly, here also, there are the contents which are there in the envelope are used by the MTS for routing this email from source to destination. The message inside the envelope consists of two separate parts. Once again, you have the header and the body. The header contains control information for the user agents, and the body is entirely for the human recipient. Now, if you want to understand better, this is a quick comparison between how you write a postal letter and how you send an email. You see, both of them are quite common. I have taken this from Faruzan's textbook, this particular diagram. So this is the envelope of a postal email, isn't it? And this is how you write a letter. You write your name, subject, and then you put the content and finally your signature. Similarly, with respect to the email, this is the envelope which contains your source and destination address. All your MTS will be looking at this and they know where to transmit this email to or how to transfer this email from source to destination. Similarly, this is your message. This entire thing is your message. Your message is once again divided into two parts. Your header part, which is from whom to whom, what is the date, what is the subject, all those kind of things. And then comes the actual body. Our body is the content what you want to send. This is for the human recipient who is actually going to read the email. Just like the postal email, the envelope of an email contains the addresses where the message must be delivered and the return address of the sender. Like this. The header of the message defines the sender, the receiver, the subject of the message, and some other control information, maybe date, timestamp, etc., etc. The body of the message contains the actual information to be read by the recipient. This is your actual body. So this is for the humans, just like what you write in the letter. So an electronic email or electronic mail looks very similar to the postal mail. Now, what is the role of the user agent? I have been talking about user agent quite a lot. The first component of an electronic mail system is the user agent. This is what the user actually interacts with. The user never interacts with the mailboxes. The user never interacts with an MTA. He always interacts with the user agent only. It provides service to the user to make the process of sending and receiving a message easier. So a user agent is nothing but it's a software package that composes, reads, replies to, or forwards messages. It also handles local mailboxes on the user's computers. So this is what an user agent does. If you just want to open an email, that is what you are actually interacting with. That is nothing but your user agent. There are two types of user agents. One of it is the command-driven user agent. These provide text-based interface and accepts a one-character command from the keyboard to perform its task. Examples are mail, pine, and elm. But these have become obsolete because these are being used long ago. And most of the modern ones, almost everything that you use right now, are GUI based. If you ask me why GUI based, simple answer, for convenience. These contain the GUI components such as icons, menu bars, windows that allow the user to interact with the software by using both the keyboard and the mouse in a much more convenient manner. Humans are tended our the general human tendency is to go for a more convenient system, much more easier to use. That is why nowadays you see all the user agents are based on graphical user interface. You have different menus, you have different icons, it looks nice, colorful, everything. So examples are the Google email, Gmail, Outlook, Mozilla, Apple Mail, all these comes under the GUI based user agents. But of course, doesn't matter if it is command driven or if it is GUI based. The main purpose of a user agent is to provide a look of the mailbox or to provide access for the user to the mailbox. It should allow the user to compose an email or to read an email. Okay. Now, when a user agent is started, it will usually present a summary of the messages in the user's mailbox. You can see this is usually what is seen when you start a user agent. From field is there. This is the subject field and this is the received field. From means it will tell you who has sent this email. Okay, who sent the message? What is this about? The subject is a very short summary of the email. So maybe a one line, two line, or one line summary. And then when did you receive it? At what date it is received? The one line summary of the message highlights the key fields of the message that are extracted from the message envelope or even the header. This is what. Now, this is how you actually see. Of course, there might be other things as well. You can see that there are some small icons added here. Nowadays, when you open Gmail, you can see a lot of things, starred messages, or if there is an attachment, you can see this. This is a pin here, which tells you there is an attachment. If you see an exclamation mark, maybe the sender has sent that it is a prioritized email. And this icon might tell you it has not been opened yet. You can see there is often a short preview of a message is provided. This is how Outlook actually looks like. Once you click on that email, you can see a very short preview, which you can decide whether it is a good one, whether to read it or whether you want to discard it. Many other fields or indications are possible according to the user agent. Of course, the way how these emails are sorted also can be done automatically or according to the user's convenience. The most common way is the date when the email is received. When you open the email, the most recent ones are actually showed first. But if you want to change it, you can also change it. So the sorting order is also the sorting can also be done according to the user's convenience based on the user agent. Okay. Now, after the message has been read, the user can decide what to do with that message. This is called as the message disposition part. Now, options. What do you mean by message disposition? You have read a message. What you want to do with it? You might delete it, you might save it, or you might send a reply, or you might forward it to someone else, or you can put it to Google Drive or something. So anything that you do after reading a message is called as the message disposition part. So most user agents can manage one mailbox for incoming mail with multiple folders for saved email. If you remember, see, when you open your own email, you can see a list of folders over there: inbox, starred, important, family, or junk email, or deleted email, like those kind of things. Of course, you can create your own folders, or the user agent can automatically create them for you as well. It can actually sort them out. Now Gmail actually sorts your email according to the primary, social, promotions, etc. You can see a lot of tabs on that email. So what it does is it automatically screens the incoming email and then categorizes them so that the user can understand whether to read it or not, or he can do that, he or she. So the user agents can also screen incoming email according to some rules to determine if it's spam or junk email and then take necessary action. Nowadays, the main disadvantage of email is spam. Out of 10 emails that we receive, 6 or 7 of them are spam emails, junk email. So, of course, even though the user agents have been updated in such a way that now they can scan the emails and can then identify whether this is a genuine email or a junk email. But still, spam email is going to be there. It is going to become so common, isn't it? So nowadays the user agents have been updated, as I told you. So at least you can get some kind of convenience. You are not inundated with lots of junk as in earlier cases. This sophisticated mail handling of user agents with search and automatic forms of processing is what makes it possible to manage these large volumes of email. As I told you, you imagine sending 240 million odd emails per minute. So the volume of traffic is quite huge. It is the job of the user agents to process it, to take necessary action in some cases. Many useful features have been included in emails, such as automatic filing by the user agents, autoresponders, vacation agents, signature blocks, etc. So this is what an user agent does. As I told you, if you remember the architecture diagram properly, the first part is the mail submission. The first thing that you interact with is with an user agent. The user agent is the one which actually allows you to create an email and then submit it for transfer, for delivery. Next part comes the MTAs. So what is the standard format? How is it maintained? What are the RFCs? And then how does SMTP work? Finally, how does the final delivery of the email takes place? I will cover those concepts in the next videos. Till then, take care and hope you had a good time. Thank you very much. Do take care.